Chiro Hustle. Sit back and learn from the greatest influencers in the profession on the world's #1 chiropractic podcast. Before we dive into this powerful episode, please remember to subscribe to our channels and give us a 5-star rating on iTunes to continue hustling. This episode is brought to you by Chiro HD, Evo Creative Media, 100% Chiropractic, Chiro Health USA, Imaging Services, Chiro Moguls, New Patients in a Box, Pure Chiro Notes, Titronics, Sherman College of Chiropractic, Life Chiropractic College West, Pro Hockey Chiros, Pro Baseball Chiros, and the IFCO. You can benefit from our full list of sponsors by visiting our sponsor page at chirohustle.com/sponsors. Links in the description. Now let's hustle.
Hey guys, welcome to episode 577 of the Chiro Hustle podcast. I'm your producer, Luke Millette, and here's your host, James Chester.
So today we have the opportunity of interviewing Dr. Drew Wagner. If you want to hear a story about identity and how to be you and not trying to be anyone else, stay tuned for the full episode. Welcome back. This is another episode of the Chiro Hustle podcast. It's 577, 6 years into this journey of documenting chiropractic for this beautiful profession of chiropractic. Today I have Drew Wagner coming in from Missouri. I'm really excited to talk about his journey in chiropractic. He's been out of school now for about 3 years, jumped into this profession right in the teeth of a scamdemic. And here we are today talking all things chiropractic and Chiro Hustle. I'll just let you know our big why. Why do we do what we do over here? Well, freedom of speech is very important. We've never censored anyone, even though we have been. It's crazy. It's crazy to think that a little show talking about chiropractic, people wouldn't want to hear more of it in the modern world of information. But sometimes people that have different agendas don't like the truth. And that's really what we produce over here. We produce the truth of chiropractic. With that, there's also a segue into medical freedom and family health freedom that we believe in. We believe that people should have sovereignty over their decisions that they make. And chiropractic is a huge component into people having medical freedom and people that have the right to choose who takes care of them, how they get taken care of them, and how they pay for those services is really important. We'll talk more philosophically. Chiropractic was founded on this idea called the big idea, but then it developed into protecting that big idea, and that's called the sacred trust. If you want to learn more about chiropractic, go to your favorite search engine right now, stop this interview, and go find BJ Palmer's Last Words. You're going to learn more about chiropractic than you previously did, I guarantee you. And then we get into the nuts and bolts of chiropractic philosophy, which is subluxation, innate, and universal intelligence. We do believe in subluxation-based chiropractic. We support subluxation-based chiropractic. It's important for the vernacular of the profession to retain the lexicon of chiropractic. And then innate and universal intelligence, we believe that when man or woman of physical is adjusted, it connects them to man or woman, the spiritual. Dr. Drew, welcome to Chiro Hustle 577.
Thanks, James. Excited to be here, my man.
Yeah, we got a chance to catch up before the interview started and just kind of touch base with each other. And 3 years out of school, man, I'm sure people are like, this guy must have a story behind how he got to where he is today. So in typical fashion of Chiro Hustle, tell us your chiropractic story. What got you into the profession?
So how it got me in chiropractic was a very injury-prone athlete. I suffered from many concussions through football, wrestling, and I had a decline in health to that point when I was in high school. A family friend, she was a chiropractor, pretty much took me and said, "You're coming with me because I'm tired of seeing you being this sick." Couple adjustments, best I felt ever did, and that's when I became hooked onto her and just continued going the path of health and wellness. Verged off a little bit because I didn't know what I was going to do. We never do when we're in those stages, early stages. Then came right back and been loving it ever since.
That's great. You know, like I hear a lot of stories by interviewing the chiropractors, and so it's great when I find that people fall in love with chiropractic because it works for them. And yeah, so you started out as a high school athlete, getting care.
Yep. Getting care, get on a regular basis, just understand what need to be happening. Funnily enough, my office is down the street from the chiropractor that took care of me when I was a kid.
That's cool, man. So friends and family, colleagues, people that are going to listen to this show, you started your upstart practice 3 years ago.
Mhm.
What have been some of the challenges? What have been some of the wins that you've seen over that past 3 years?
So just starting with the challenges on there, it's literally taking yourself from the school demeanor to the reality demeanor. School, they keep you enclosed because you're staying into that, so you know everybody who's everybody to that point. You have to shift that. You have to take that almost that same mentality, but take it outside. You have to put the footwork in. You have to go out and meet people. No one's going to come to your door and say, "Hey, I saw that you're a new chiropractor. I want to give you a try." No, no, no. You have to be known and heard first. Then they start coming toward you to that point. And that's a misconception because every student that we've been told has been told, yes, saying chiropractic is the greatest thing. Yes, it's true, but that's still not going to get people on your door.
Yeah, there is oftentimes people from the stage. I've heard it so many times that there's never been a better time to be a chiropractor.
Yep.
Did you feel that same feeling
Oh yeah.
coming out of school in 2021?
Yeah. Don't get me wrong. It was scary because I was all by myself on this. I do everything by myself in my office. So when you call me, you get me onto there. So just hearing everything that I possibly can and did everything I did and just having that flow saying, I'm doing this no matter what. There's no plan B. It's only this plan. And either I learn from the failure or something else. So I learned from the failures and just continue what I need to be doing. And it's paid off from learning.
So talk us through that journey of what worked for you and what didn't work.
So what didn't work was uh, thinking everybody needs me. Just saying, oh yeah, I need every spine in the world onto this. No, I need to stick to the people who I knew most of at first, and have them bet on me with their help. And they've been coming out solid to that point.
That's really cool. I think that a lot of people are going to take some stuff away from that because even today, if somebody's been practicing a decade, they've been practicing 15 years. We saw people have a lot of challenges over the past 3 years. And I think it's really cool that you can share some of your testimony on when you figure out your niche, you figure out your group of people to serve. You just got to do really good at taking care of those people.
Yep, and that's pretty much they know how to take care of them. Then they reciprocate by saying, "Hey, you've been taking care of me. Here's my family. Here's my uncle. Here's my mother. Here's my twice cousin removed who lives in the city."
Yeah. So have you seen a trend in becoming a referral-based practice in the past 3 years, or do you go out and do like any marketing? Do you do Facebook? Do you do events, or what's your biggest referral source or biggest growth pattern for new patients?
So right now it's starting to change a little bit for me. So I was big into face-to-face communication with a lot of people. Then as I started getting more patients in and start being busy, a lot more busy onto there, I've had this go into Facebook. I've had to go into BNI, which are both incredibly great. That's been a great referral process that I've been able to go through.
That's cool. Yeah, I mean, early on, people that listen to my show, they know that I worked in a clinic for almost 6 years, and I was going as the representative for the office to professional networking groups and going to the BNI chapters and being on the Chamber of Commerce groups. And there's just a great deal to learn about business, being around other people that do business.
Oh yeah, it is. It teaches, like, it shows like you like, hey, that's a great idea. Do you mind if I talk to you more about that? How you were able to go from there? Like most of the ideas I get are from other people from my BNI group. Come up with the saying, hey, do you mind if I use your cover letter for people that are in our group to help? And that's been one big factor onto that point. It's like, I'm giving you and I'll always tell them, like, I'm giving you the credit. I didn't come up with this.
Yeah, the network really helps, and it gets people to communicate, and they get their 3 to 5 minute commercial that they get like every so often during the year to talk to the people in the group about what they do. I think it's really amazing. Like, I think people should learn how to do grassroots relationship based marketing. I think it should be a huge part of how people integrate into their community. Some people fall into it, they do it forever. Some people try it for 2 to 3 years and they're like, I've had my time there, I've done the relationship stuff, I'm on to the next thing. But I think it's important for people to at least go that route and see if it works for them for a while.
Exactly. You got to try before you say it doesn't work.
Yeah. So reading your bio, I was talking to you about like the certainty of the adjustment before we got going and how important it is for a practitioner to like really be able to deliver the goods and to be a great adjuster. What do you think during your transition of where you are today has gotten you to that point of certainty?
It was my certainty is to literally shut the brain off and know what you're doing. So you have to get every distraction out of your head. That was my biggest thing. So no more second guessing. No more caring if the patient likes you or not. No more saying, well, I hope this doesn't aggravate. No. Everything in your head has to be positive, mindful, and you have to 100% care that you know this is working.
So I think what I hear here is you had to get really clear with your adjusting techniques.
Pretty much.
How did you develop the skills? Because I talk to docs all the time. They're like, yeah, got a person out of college, chiropractic school, by the way, and they don't know how to adjust. Like, how does that happen? It's like a car mechanic that says, yeah, I don't know how to change a tire.
Yep.
Like, but how did you learn how to adjust?
How I learned? So during school, I worked for a CrossFit gym, and everybody in that gym, and that was my niche, knew that I was becoming a chiropractor. So they would come to me to ask questions, saying, "Hey, is there any way that I could get this fixed?" So on and so forth. So with them, they allowed me to be their doctor at that time, and be able to practice on them, and be a lot more fundamentally successful with them.
Yeah, that's cool. I think that's just it. It's like we all learn how to do something and then we build upon it, and then we build upon it, then we build upon it. In your bio, it says that you've done work with the zone technique.
Yes.
How has that transitioned your adjusting certainty and the way you do practice at your office?
It was going back to like saying no second guessing. I don't have to second guess anymore. I know certainly you need to be adjusted at this level, this level, this level, and get everything balanced out to make sure you're going to be good. Make sure that patient is going to feel the best when they walk out of my room.
Yeah, I've noticed that there's a certain method that zone practitioners do. They check and find out different zones of the body that might not be functioning the way they're supposed to, and then the chiropractic adjustment comes and you adjust different segments to allow the body to reintegrate and to clear out that interference, right?
Yep, exactly. It just goes back to saying we're going to stimulate the spine, getting that brain to chill out until get to relax, or I like to say we're just going to reset this and get the wheels turning again.
Yeah. So talk about you a little bit. What are you doing to take care of yourself, being a busy practitioner and delivering so much care to other people?
So I weight train every morning as I possibly can. I was a competitive powerlifter, strongman in my early years.
Wow.
Not anymore. I take care of those guys now. But I still do majority of weightlifting as I possibly can. I do that every morning. I take walks when I get done with the office. I try, and I just eat I call it the 4-season diet, where every season I change up my diet to that point.
Yeah, you eat what's in season. Sounds like
pretty much. If I know it's not in season, not having it.
So how does that transition to this time of the year? We're around Thanksgiving.
So in the Midwest, it's going to be a lot of meat and potatoes.
And then what happens when it hits like springtime?
So decrease the potatoes, increase the fruit and the vegetable intake.
That's cool. And then summertime, what's it look like?
Summertime, a lot of fruit, a lot of protein.
Where's pizza fit into this? I'm kidding.
Pizza on Saturday.
It's a four-year season, or it's a four season food.
No one said I can't have pizza. It's just like, okay, I'll have it on Saturday.
Oh yeah. So understanding you, the practitioner, I think we got a pretty good idea of why you do what you do, who you do it for. Marketing, BNI, Facebook. Have you seen Facebook becoming harder to generate your ideal client through?
Yes, because everybody, they don't think that you are who you say you are in that sense. Or they don't believe that, yeah, I've gotten results with this patient onto this. Because everything, I don't want to say everything can be faked, but it looks like a lot they see onto there has been glorified to, yeah, if you see this, don't pay attention. You really think this doctor can help you with TMJ, fibromyalgia? Yeah, good luck with that. Bye.
Yeah, I think that perception's reality, and people are constantly getting marketed to, and they're constantly like, if you click on something that you're interested in on a social media, like you're going to see it 4 to 5 more times until it basically converts you.
Yep.
Like they know if you're interested. Like I'm interested in office space. Like now it just sends me random pictures or updates like, hey, did you see these new office space listed? Like they actually do the work for you now because they know you're interested in it. And they know that if you don't go back to it, you're not going to convert on it. So they're actually going to help you more. So I see like the social media marketing has become a bit more intuitive, but also invasive and almost too much. So it is interesting how, people are still, they tune out, like you said. They don't know why they bought something. They don't remember doing it. And then you call them up, you're like, hey, you bought like an offer to come see me at the chiropractic office. And they're like, what, who? And they're just confused because there's no relationship there.
Yep. And that's my deal. I'm always, either it has to be a face-to-face meeting, like, or in person, or like this.
Mm-hmm.
I don't like texting. Texting takes tonality, it takes emphasis as stuff that's onto there. It doesn't show the empathy where I'm able to show you in person.
Yeah, I also honestly believe that text messages for business should be converted into reminders and scheduling. Like schedule, reminders, nothing else. But I think, everybody finds a way to interact with new technology. I was just talking to some marketers today, and they were talking to me about how you have to now register any number that you send text messages through so people can't spam you with text messages. And I was like, yeah, it makes sense. And they're like the same way that like somebody can't just spam you with email. Like you have to like have clearance to have access to people. You have to register. And I was like, yeah, I could see that because nobody wants to get emails they don't want. Nobody wants somebody texting them that they don't know.
Yep, exactly.
And he's like, if they don't, it's going to ruin the text messaging like as a whole. Mm-hmm. And I said, yeah, people are going to start sending voice notes more.
Yep.
And he's like,
that's what I've done onto there. I will send reminder and schedule onto there. But at the same time, if I have a new patient that I had today, I'm giving her a call tomorrow saying, hey, checking in, want to see how it's going on. If you have any questions, just give me a call back when you got time. On this, talk to you soon. Bye-bye.
How many times do you find that a new patient will respond back to you and be like, no one in my entire life has ever called me and asked me how I was doing after a doctor's visit?
They're shocked. They're shocked that you didn't take the time to do it.
Yeah. And that's one of my questions is your favorite way to stay connected to your local community, but just staying in touch with the people that you take care of the right way and building relationships with them, they appreciate that.
Yep, and that's what I do. Is like the community's going to build you. That's what's the biggest thing that I hope a lot of new docs and students, if they're listening to this, your community, wherever you're going to be, it's going to build you. It's how you're going to treat your communities, how they're going to respond to you.
Have you found that reviews matter with your practice?
Yes and no. Most times it's the other person referring them in. So when they take it onto there, then they do their history, like saying, oh, he has a lot of good reviews onto this. Okay, I'll go see him. Or they're just like, I'm taking a shot because my friend told me to come see you.
You made it to Chiro Hustle. Sit back and learn from the greatest influencers in the profession on the world's #1 chiropractic podcast. This episode is brought to you by Chiro HD, Evo Creative Media, 100% Chiropractic, Chiro Health USA, Imaging Services, Chiro Moguls, New Patients in a Box, Pure Chiro Notes, Titronics, Sherman College of Chiropractic, Life Chiropractic College West, Pro Hockey Chiros, Pro Baseball Chiros, and the IFCO. You can benefit from our full list of sponsors by visiting our sponsor page at chirohustle.com/sponsors. Links in the description. Now let's hustle.
Yeah, I'm always curious about like how somebody gets found to come to a chiropractic clinic. Like I'm old school. I go do marketing events and I'll go to like a home and garden show or an RV show or something, a boat show, and I'll find new patients at those types of events and I'll talk to them in person. Then we'll schedule them at that event. We'll send them into the office. So there's a whole different level of like connection and conversion, and telling the story and building expectations. And I think a lot of times when people like just read like reviews, they can only get such a sense of like, did they pay for these reviews? Like, are these real people? How did they get like 200 of these? Like even the person that's like top 5 on the Google search, you're like, how did they get so many darn reviews? And then you always go to the one that has the most. So I think that there should be strategies for all chiropractors to consider getting more Google reviews and Facebook reviews, because those really become social proof.
Yep.
And if I've learned anything through marketing, is you've got to have third-party validation.
Mm-hmm.
People that will sing your praises. And digital is a way that people do. They shop with reviews.
Yep, I agree with you. And that's what most people do. Is it's like, if you just like the example I had, someone said, yeah, I go see my chiropractor onto this. And it's like, okay, is he good? Well, you go. She legit said, read his reviews. You be the dictator onto there.
Now, what do they look like on Instagram? What do they look like do they have a podcast? Do they have a YouTube channel? Like there's all these next level demands of the marketplace for access and people to actually like reach out. And in today's, social media economy, like people have to reach out different. We have to communicate different.
Mm-hmm. It's just getting that message out there and seeing that is it going to swim in a big pond or a busy river?
And then are you building the practice that you want? And are you doing the things that you feel called to do as a practitioner? Like, do you feel like you should be learning Facebook ads, or do you feel like you should be delivering the best chiropractic care possible and networking with somebody that specializes in Facebook ads? It's like, where's your time best spent, and what is the thing that you can do that no one else can do? Yep. That's adjust.
Yep, that's adjust. It's to adjust. It's to care and smile.
Yeah, I love that. The smiling part takes me back to when they were arresting chiropractors for practicing medicine without a license. They'd get locked up, and their hunger strike was keep smiling.
Yep.
And this has been a profession of people that have smiled through a lot of stuff, and growth and humility and service. Speaking of that, I'm really curious, who have been some of your mentors? Who have been some of the people that have inspired you to be the practitioner you are today?
So I got there's a couple. So Dr. Pete Goldman's one of them. So that's a gimme on that one. Then another one is one of my good friends I went to went to Cleveland with, his dad, Dr. Eric Benson, who was in Grand Island, Nebraska. He's helped me figure out how to get everything nice and started, get everything where it needs to be, how to respond to certain patients' reactions, good or bad, to that point. Literally give them a call and say, hey, I need to talk to you about something. I was like, perfect. Good. Let's get talking.
I think that that's a really great takeaway for people. It doesn't matter how long you've been into your profession, whether it's chiropractic or not, is to have a professional network around you of experienced people and colleagues that are willing to support you through questions and building systems around you and figuring out how to run a business.
Yep, I agree. If I didn't have Eric, I would probably be spinning, just trying to figure out still what to do. I don't have to do that anymore because I'm certain about what I need to be doing now.
Yeah, clarity and direction are certainly huge for an individual practice. Now, let's talk about the profession. Being in it for 3 years, understanding probably more about chiropractic in the past 5 years than you ever did previously to that. What have you seen up to this point for chiropractic, and where do you see the profession going?
So what I've seen, it's kind of, and what I've seen so far is that there's a lot of chiropractors who are been in business a little bit longer than I have, that are a little bit scared when they start seeing a patient with certain symptoms. It's like, why are you having that fear? We know what to do. If you're scared of them, I'll be willing to. I'll help them out to that point. Don't put them in more of a negative environment. We need them in a positive environment.
So challenging cases are something that you've seen happening, and people not knowing how to do case management.
Exactly. I've been seeing that a lot more, a lot of people who've been talking about that. But the other plus side is that we have new docs who are coming in who are now fully understanding what chiropractic is. Because I feel like we got, as we talked previously, that we feel like chiropractic almost got not washed, but set into a different definition to that point. That they weren't truly healers. They were just someone wearing scrubs, a suit and tie. Like, yeah, I could work on this and that, throw you on this machine, put you on that machine, then bill you, and be on your way onto that point.
Well, I think what we're going to see from my perspective is health and wellness centers that are anchored with chiropractic. And I think you're going to see a lot of collaboration, like the way that you said that you started working on CrossFit athletes.
Yep.
I see the trend of where possible chiropractors share space in gyms a lot more, just because of marketing dollars and overhead expenses. And you can take care of more people when you have a good network. I can see more, like, have you ever been to like an old school that they closed down and they turned into like a shopping center?
Yep, you got that right down the street.
And there's a chiropractor there probably.
Yep,
and there's a pizza place. There's probably a coffee shop. There's probably a place to do paint by wine or whatever.
Yep.
and
store, so on and so forth.
Yeah, and that's just it. Is like these community centers. Now there's going to be that vitalistic chiropractor. And there's going to be that person that when people don't want to go to the old school model of insurance-based care, or they don't want to go to like the waiting room for a doctor to do some tests on them, they're going to go see the chiropractor.
Oh yeah, that's what a new patient yesterday told me, saying they were so happy that I was able to treat them that day instead of saying, hey, we're going to take x-rays. We're going to get to know each other. Then I want you to come back tomorrow and get you some, and then we're going to get you fixed. I'm saying, no, you're here to see me today. I'm going to treat you today.
Yeah, even with my marketing, I've seen some people convert a day 2 to a day 1 and adjust on day 1, and it's better for their conversion and retention.
Yep.
Like, we have to keep adapting to the system. That's why I asked that question, because everybody has a different path and everybody sees chiropractic differently as the way that it develops and the way that it will start to grow and co-op with other, necessities. But I do think that people that have gotten to that point of saying, I'm looking for a chiropractor, they're committed. That there's something going on inside of them that no one else has helped them with, that they're going to say, okay, now it's time to go this path. But it's really like an awakening moment for a lot of people. So I do think that people are going to be there's going to be more of a great awakening for people, and they're going to be more interested in preventative healthcare rather than crisis healthcare. And the more that you can prevent people from crisis healthcare, that's what chiropractic is going to find its true calling in, I believe.
Oh yeah, no, 100% agree with that. The amount, with majority of my practice is seeing nurses. I'm the nurse chiropractor because they're like, yeah, we're on our feet 8, 10, 12 hours a day, and we're just wrecked. There's maybe 1,500 pound, 125 pound girl who has to work on flipping over a 500 pound man to get because they're in that crisis situation, and now their body has to pay the price. On Terry's like, yeah, you come in here, get you nice and good, get you set, and sleep for once.
Yeah, people don't understand enough about their sympathetic nervous system and their parasympathetic nervous system, and they don't understand the quality control of actually letting the body go to rest and digest, and to chill out the nervous system to where it actually does go to rest and digest rather than always fight or flight. So there's a lot that goes into when you start to crack the code on somebody's stress levels, and then they actually start taking care of themselves. It's a quality of life game then.
Yep, exactly. And
it's not a pain game.
No, it's not a pain game. It's a quality game.
Mm-hmm.
It's how much quality of life can I give you back? And every single patient that comes to my door, I'm always happy to see them no matter what.
So I appreciate the conversation up to where we're at. I know we're coming to the close of our session today, but miracle stories. I always like to close out with these miracle stories. Is there something that you'd like to share with our audience today?
Yep. So I got 2 of them. The first one was a older gentleman, been seeing a chiropractic for years onto this. Came in with trigeminal neuralgia. We all know that. Yep, exactly. 3 to 4 visits in, done. Able to sleep, able to get work done, does not have the pain anymore up to that point. Just figuring out what his pattern is, what's going on with him up here, and getting that balanced out to that point. Then the one that I hold most dearest to me was a patient of mine whose child has who is on the autism spectrum. The child had more of a textile issue. Did not like wearing much clothing or certain types of clothing material. Luckily enough, this was in summertime, so it was like, okay, this is simple onto this. I get a call the next day from the mom, and she says she is wearing every single piece of clothing and not having an issue whatsoever. And I was like, oh, okay, so that was that saying, this is definitely more than anything else. And this was one of my first years in practice that I've had that happen.
Yeah, I asked this question to a lot of people that we interview. And I think, chiropractic miracle stories happen daily in practices. Mm-hmm. And it affects the practitioner as much as it gives life and vitalism back to the patient. And that's an anchor moment for a lot of the practitioners, is those stories that keep them going, because people are out there and they need what chiropractors do. They need to get checked, detect, and correct a vertebral subluxation by a trained chiropractor, restoring their body back to functionality, self-healing organism. I think there's a lot of people out there that if they knew what chiropractic did, they would go and do it today. they would go and send their family in now. But it's like a secret, and we just have to keep on telling the story about it.
Oh yeah, telling the story, just like DD, BJ, is what they did.
Well, I appreciate you telling your story today and sharing with our audience on Chiro Hustle. Your episode 577. Is there anything that we didn't ask you that you would like to share with our audience?
One big thing, docs, students, be you. Don't try to fake anything. Fakeness is not going to get you where you're going to be. Pretending who you want to be is not going to be there. Be you. Be 100% real in your office.
Well, that's a really good closing message. If people wanted to reach out to you or to get in touch with you, where would we send them to?
So you can find me on Facebook, Andrew Wagner on Facebook, Wagner Chiropractic on Facebook, Instagram, Dr. Drew Wagner, and business page at Wagner Chiropractic KC.
All right, guys, check him out. Andrew Wagner, Facebook, Instagram, Dr. Drew Wagner. Thanks for being our guest today.
Thank you, James. It was a pleasure, my man.
Yeah, I actually really appreciated the humbleness that you brought to the conversation, and that you've been out for 3 years and you took the courage to actually jump on the show with us today.
Oh yeah, no, I deeply appreciate everything that you've been doing. You're giving a whole new light to what needs to be happening.
It's guerrilla journalism. It's grassroots. No one else wanted to fit the gap, so I decided to do it. And it's been very fulfilling because now I have the greatest database of natural healers in the world. That's pretty amazing.
Exactly, and just going to continue to grow.
Just going to continue to grow. And as I close out, I tell everybody the same thing. You're just one story away. Keep hustling. Dr. Andrew Wagner, thank you for being episode 577 of the Chiro Hustle podcast.
Thank you, James.
Have a great day now.
You do the same. Thank you.
All right. Bye.
Thanks for listening to Chiro Hustle. Don't forget to subscribe and check back next week to continue hustling.